You object? You are. I'm always. So what's this?
Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can I just ask you if you have got a phone to switch on to silent or turn it off? And then, so this is a notice of a council meeting. You are hereby summoned to attend the meeting of Hemsworth Town Council to be held in the main hall, Hemsworth Town Council Community Centre, Bunshaw Road, Hemsworth, commencing at 7 p.m. on Thursday, 14th of July, 2020, for the purpose of transacting the following business.
Chair, can I leave mine on? Because I might get a phone call.
I think under those circumstances, but do you know how to put it on silent so you can just?
I don't know.
Just let him keep it up.
I am letting them keep it,
Yeah.
and I'm just saying if you can use that, that's fine. I've got to ask.
You-
Yeah, no, leave it then, Sam.
Okay, thank you.
It's okay.
Keep it on.
Item 1, apologies for absence, to receive apologies for absence and to consider and approve the reasons for absence.
Councillor Jones just send her apologies as well. She can't make it tonight.
Item 2, declarations of interest. Council should discuss pecuniary and non-pecuniary interests in the items on this agenda. I think Alan, you've got what needs to be on. Yeah. Item 3, public question time. To receive questions from members of the public. So if you want to put your hands up, let us know your name so Alan can record it and ask your question. Thank you. Yes.
My question relates to outstanding work. On the 19th of October last year, Councillor Middleton mentioned about outstanding work that was required to be done, especially with the Sandy Gate, with the Mounsley planings. In that meeting, we said that we were going to action that. Nothing's happened since the 19th of October. I wrote into the town clerk to ask when is it going to take place, and his response back to me was it's on the to-do list. So on the to-do list, when is it actually going to happen? Because like from the 19th of October to today, in my eyes, is too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd like, you know, we've had discussions with planning at Wakefield Council to do extra work up at Sandygate with floodlights and different other things. And we're hoping to include that in the money that we're getting from Wakefield Council, you know, to spend some of the 300,000. So I think it's been held back until that's decided and all done together.
It is on the agenda later on as well.
No, because the car park up there is not adequate, it's not big enough. And so what we intended to do was to, you know, to remove topsoil and drop the curbs and extend car park like we did at Cemetery Road. One of the downsides to that is selling machinery, so that's been put on hold because of that. And the other thing then is the 300,000 that we're getting off of Wake, it could be included in that works.
And so why wasn't that said to the clerk? So, you know, the clerk, all his answer back to me was, it's on the
Can you use mine, Kathy? We
Yeah,
really
so
can.
it's
Honestly, I'm a bit out of hearing, I'm sorry.
So why hasn't that been relayed to the town, to Alan? So obviously it was.
Well, that's what it means. It is still on to-do list, but there's other things that want doing as well.
That's a question there. So if you're doing, as you just said, why not have a council know about this? That's the first we've known about this.
No, there's been plans drawn up for that.
This is the first thing I've known about this.
There's,
No,
if you ask,
nothing
if you ask
else
town
I'm just
clerk,
saying, I'm just asking, you said it's doing, this is the first as councillors, I believe, half of us don't know. Why do we not know about this?
this plan's been drawn up there, I think they've been for 2 years now because of the pandemic and everything. And obviously, what, the best thing to do with that is to use some of this money that we're getting from Wakefield.
Can I ask a question, please? Yeah. Can I ask why Councillor Kenyon's talking about money that we're getting from Wakefield before we've even got it on the agenda? And
It is
saying
on-
that that's,
it's
you
on
say
the
that's what we're
agenda.
gonna use it for, we've not, the item on the agenda is just to discuss what we want, it sounds like it's already discussed.
And when was it all discussed?
It's gonna be discussed tonight, there's 4 main things on the agenda, which is.
Can we
lake,
just speak at once? And
Which
then we
is,
can
the
get,
4 main things on the agenda, which were discussed last year sometime, is the lake, Sandygate, Cemetery Road, and now I think we're going to try and
Got some
include
water.
the path round the lake.
Yeah.
You know, the 300,000 could also help towards that.
like I've just mentioned to Kathy, it's on the agenda, Kathy, so we should obviously, progress forward with it when we've discussed it later on. Any more questions? Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, I just wondered when the vacancy for the spare seat is going to be announced or.
Yeah, I do believe it's on the leisure and recreation. I don't know why it weren't on tonight, so I think.
It weren't on tonight, it was too late. The agenda had been issued before
Yeah,
council
that's
had to
what I was
resign,
just
so.
assuming that'd be too late.
Yeah, I notified Wakefield. Wakefield have today sent me through the notice which I have to sign, which I'll do tomorrow, and send that back to Wakefield, and then the vacancy will be officially live, and then electors can request to have a by-election if they wish.
What?
Taking it on to,
Again, it's on the agenda.
are you any further forward with the accessible play equipment?
I do believe we're gonna be yeah, it's going to be discussed tonight, but obviously we have been getting some quotes and it's only just, it's ongoing. We've only just discussed to have this disabled play things in, so we have to discuss it tonight and then hopefully we'll move progress on that, hopefully.
Because I'd like to make the 300,000 from Wakefield to maybe be considered for that. It is quite costly, Jean, so
I do believe it is.
around about £7,000, and that's without fitting.
I
and
think-
VAT.
We've had Sutcliffe Play. We're going to discuss it tonight anyway, so if you want to have some input, then you can do.
Thank you.
Yeah, they've got plenty of money low up here, so you're all right. Well done it.
Yes, sir.
Can I just go back to that? That planings that you've got up at that Sandygate, and you're waiting for that money. It's been going since October, so get it done and then you can get that money back later. You've got money to do it. You've got staff. If it's been going on since October, I'll go up with a shovel and I'll start it myself.
How come we are?
Yeah, I agree with you. Listen, it's not,
And if
it's
been
not
discussed
100%
with
with this.
council, it looks a
It's
mess,
not
doesn't it?
100% that our local councils will agree to what we're wanting. They've asked us. So this is what we're doing. And I agree, we have got the money and I'm hoping with that money that we've got, surplus, we can get things done. That's what I intended
It
to.
must come under general maintenance, so get rid of it if it's,
No, it's extension to car park, it's not general maintenance.
I'll get it done then.
The issues that
You've
we've
got
had.
the money, because you can see your
Just
account.
one at a
Don't say you're
time,
waiting for
please.
Wakefield money,
No, the
because
issues
that's a
that-
get out all the time.
No, the issues that we've had with that was staffing issues at first. People obviously, the pandemic slowed it down, and then it was brought up to dispose of the machine that we've got that's going to do most of the work. So, we're in catch-22.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll go up on my day off and I'll make a start with a barrow and a shovel.
I think there's insurance implications then, so
It'll be a lot harder than that.
it's
I
not
know,
as
we'll
easy
make a
as.
start more than what
The thing is,
Can we just come through chair, please?
can I go through chair then, please?
Yeah.
If they'd have discussed it.
I
with
can't
us
hear you,
in-
Maxine.
If they'd have
You
discussed it,
need, Mike, I can't hear.
if you'd have discussed it with us, we could have probably moved forward. We know nothing about this. You haven't spoke to us about any of this.
None of it.
So you're making decisions without all of us knowing.
There's been no decisions
I haven't made no decisions without not this council knowing.
The road planers were put up there with the intentions of extending that car park because of complaints from residents parking outside their houses, even more so now that that estate's been complete. But obviously,
So why
because
hasn't
of
it
work
been brought up
commitments and
before?
pandemic, the work were put on hold.
So why wasn't it brought up before, so we could have discussed it and
We did
moved it
discuss it, we
forward?
discussed it, and we said to Sean, what the hold were, you know, it was workforce more than anything at that time, people being off sick with pandemic. And then
Eh?
obviously
Oh,
we've turned
pandemic is it?
April, and then we said we'd bring it back to us to discuss what we're gonna do, and all I've said here is, if there's extra work to do up at Sandygate, then can it be included in that, which we're gonna discuss tonight?
That's not what you said. What you said were the 4 things we're gonna spend this money on.
There's 5 actually, because the.
Oh, there's 5 now.
Not one of them
Right,
is
can we all
discussed
come to
before.
order?
I'm
This
not
is
making
no
a
point.
decision, I'm gonna mention it tonight, same as everybody
Don't
else.
worry about him, he's
Sorry,
fucking
Chair.
in all the time.
I'm
Yeah.
talking to all the
Exactly.
councillors, not just one.
Oh, sorry, Chair.
Just put, sorry, Donna, can we just put his hand up, one at a time, I'll come to you, and then don't all speak at once, because it's pointless exercise. Donna,
I'm really concerned that what's just been said is, we've decided with everyone else heard it, we've decided with that money, we're gonna do this, this, this and this. And within 3 minutes, you've just said you've not said it. And I'm finding this really frustrating and it makes us all look ridiculous.
They're constantly.
what, who are you referring to, because
Councillor
I haven't
Kenyon.
said that. I haven't
Councillor
said
Kenyon,
that,
just in
I
front of
know
this
that this is
audience.
on the agenda, Donna, to
I know
discuss
too.
tonight,
But
and that's all.
Yeah.
oh, so why
It's on agenda
That's
to be
it.
discussed tonight.
See, it's in again.
Can you come through chair now?
Chair.
Just 1
Well,
minute,
Chair, it's going through it.
just 1 minute, Alan.
Why doesn't councillor Kenyon have to come through the chair? He's putting
it every
time, he hasn't put his hand
I've just said, stop trying to put.
Can he
to
just do as he
complicate
wants? Is he
things.
still
I've
chairman
just
or what?
said, all the councillors, not one, and no, he's not the chairman. Right, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna,
Can
Right, I
I just,
think-
can I just say, at the meeting on the 19th, there was no mention about extending the car park or anything else. It was, sorry, I don't know your name, right at the end.
Eric.
Yeah, it was Eric that actually brought it up. It was Sean that raised it. And then Eric then said about the state of everywhere, basically. Because it wasn't just Sandygate, it was also down at the water park where they dug out and there were just mounds of everything. At no point was it raised, it was due to that you were extending the car park. I've actually listened to the video to make sure that when I stand here, that the facts are correct. So it wasn't actually mentioned anywhere that you were extending that car park. You said that you were going to actually get on and move it.
right.
Just saying, Kath, I think if you remember, we said we couldn't move at that time because we didn't have nobody to drive the digger. And I think Mr. Councillor Kenyon also says that we would get on with it in a few months because the power was affected shut down due to the works on the storage pipes. So that's why I said we could do it then. I think that was what we said.
And when we talked about selling machinery, we said.
There has been,
Jobs done first.
obviously there has been obstacles in his way before, you know, and that's why, but we are gonna be discussing it tonight. Anybody else?
Well, let's just hope we discuss it then.
Just a minute, then, yeah, we're gonna discuss it.
Good evening, councillor Edwards. I'd like to ask you a few personal questions about your.
Can you put the mic on, please, because I can't hear very well.
I'd like to ask you a couple of questions tonight about your responses to me and your non-answers in previous meeting.
But first of all, I'd like to ask yourself, the clerk, councillor Kenyon, Pringle, the other Ettles, Mitchell and Wilson, if they are aware of the Nolan principles. And did they sign them when they become councillor?
Well, yes, we did, we signed, yes.
Right, can you answer me now and tell me why you've all overtly, blatantly breached those?
Breached what?
Breached all the Nolan principles,
Like what?
every one of them.
Like, well, name
Well,
something,
cronyism for one, you know.
name something that you're talking about.
Cronyism. Yeah, there we go, cronyism. There we go again, Kenny, because it hasn't been answered.
Just a
that's
minute,
right.
come through,
Chair,
Chair,
can
just
I
a
come through,
minute,
Chair?
just a minute, you can in a minute, we've just,
None of my questions about cronyism have ever been answered. The two I've asked you, you've actually retorted to me. Come back, face twisted with rage and anger. Just spewing abuse at me, basically, you're not giving me an answer.
when will this be?
Well, they're all in meetings and they're all recorded, so you can see them. One, I asked you,
Well, if you want to, your evidence, what you've got in that's been recorded, if you like to speak to the clerk about it, I'm sure he'll advise you what to do.
that's what I'm saying, there's no point, because I'm sure you're aware, you're labelled the cabal. And the way you've acted tonight, it just proved that. You're
No,
acting on our behalf.
that's your words,
No,
Mr. Conway.
No, tonight, it's been evident, you're not acting on behalf of the community. Half of these committee here didn't know that you had made a decision.
We haven't made a decision, it was discussed 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, half of them don't know about it.
Well,
And not only that.
don't say that it hasn't been said.
The extraordinary
Didn't
meeting,
know
what
that
was
was
held
200,000
here,
2 years ago.
the night of the extraordinary meeting, what was held here, the public came in and voted a massive vote of no confidence against Councillor Kenyon. All you're voting against the community. So therefore, you're not voting on behalf of the community, you're blatantly and overtly voting against the community.
Yeah.
And even the great abstainer, Folletti, thought he was being wise by abstaining, but he thinks we're thick. We're not thick, we know an abstention was actually handing the vote to Mr. Kenyon. He actually sold his vote for a tinfoil hat from a tin pot dictator.
Absolutely.
And what it is, this cabal, what it's called for, it's not run by your puppets. It's run, it's got to
Right,
be said.
Mr. Conway, I'm not going to let you continue any further with your abuse and insults,
Well, it's not an abuse.
especially to people that are not here anyway. And you don't speak for all the public, might I just say that? You
All
speak,
right.
you
I did
you speak
organise
for
an
yourself.
extraordinary meeting.
You speak for yourself, so I'm going to move on to another question.
The next question is David Pringle actually ruling
No,
your?
I am not talking to you, Mr. Pringle. I'm not talking to you because you are a hypocrite for mentioning what you just have and then you come out with things like that. It's not the thing to do, is
Yeah,
it?
but I was
And
wrong.
the lies in that you put on Facebook as well, and personal things, I don't think that's correct either.
Excuse me,
When you've got the proof, come back to the
He
clerk. When you've got the proof, come back to the clerk and the clerk will deal with it.
never does though.
Yes,
Again, you're dodging the question again.
I'm not dodging
You
any
are, but you're trying
question.
to again.
You come out with the same things all the time.
Yeah, because you don't answer them.
You made 4 complaints against councillors.
Jim,
And not
Jim,
one,
Jim,
not
Jim,
one.
Kenny, you told me I could go to a meeting, I could ask you a question. And I would have thought that means.
I'm gonna ask you I'm gonna ask you to be quiet or I'm gonna take a vote for you to leave the room. So it's up to you, Mr. Conway.
I'll take a vote then, so I'm not going to be quiet. You're not going to fight me down.
Well, we'll take a vote. You've had your warning. Can we take the lady's question?
Yeah, my name's Sue Dakers, and in response to this gentleman's request about the Nolan principles, I'd like to read them out to the council, please. The first
Can you
one is
use mic,
selflessness.
please?
The first one is selflessness. The second one is integrity, which I raised at the last meeting that I came to. The third one is objectivity. Holders of public office must act and take decisions impartially, fairly, and on merit, using the best evidence and without discrimination or bias. Number 4, accountability. I don't think any accountability from most of you. Openness. That certainly hasn't happened. Even your members of council don't know what's going on half the time. Honesty is number 6, and leadership is number 7. And they are the Nolan principles that you all are supposed to have signed up to. And I can't see evidence of any of them. Thank you.
Right, yeah, is there another question?
Correct, yeah.
No, right, so we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is item 4, recorded votes. As per minute number 262, 2021-22, to consider which item on the agenda will have a recorded vote.
Madam Chair, Councillor Middleton has asked for recorded votes on items 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 20, 22, 23, 24 and 25.
Well, I think we might as well have recorded votes on all the items on the
Yeah.
agenda.
I think 14 should be done as well.
Yeah, and number 14.
I think, as I've just said, we will have recorded votes on every item on the agenda.
Yeah.
Item 5, town council meetings to approve and respect the respective minutes of the council. The council meetings held on 12th of May and 16th of June 2022. Item 6, committee and subcommittee meetings to adopt. Oh, sorry, all in favour? Item 6, committee and subcommittee meetings to adopt the minutes of committees and their respective subcommittees as follows. So we'll do them all together, which is Leisure and Recreation, 23rd of June, Finance, 23rd of June, Policy and Planning, 23rd of June, 2022. We all in favour? Move on to item 7, council payments to confirm the payments of accounts as approved at the Finance Committee meeting held on 14th of April and 23rd of June 2022. Yeah, have we got a mover and seconder, all in favour? Right. If we take a recorded vote, so do you want to just vote to move them and accept them, or
Well, it's all in favour. I don't, as about that, if it's contested, I do, but if it's all in favour.
so, all, yeah. Item A, Hemsworth Food Pantry, to consider request from Hemsworth Food Pantry for free use of the main hall and catering kitchen, Hemsworth Community Centre during August. Can we,
Can accommodate them.
we can accommodate them, so I'd
Definitely.
like to, propose them. You can?
How long will it be for? Every day, a month,
2 days a week.
No, 2 days a week.
All right, that's.
And I don't think there's anything obviously, so there's no reason why they can't. So that's okay, Alan. All in favour?
Definitely.
Item 9, fun fair, to consider a revised request to have a smaller fun fair in Hemsworth Water Park, 20th to 29th of August 2022. Alan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, this is the third request now. Previously been turned down twice. The revised request from Mr Tucker, as per the agenda, is to have a smaller fun fair to the left of the overflow car parks, which will have the car park. I would stress, if the council approve it, it would have to be much smaller because of the nature of the land and topography, and also all risk and liability would be on the fun fair, not the council.
So do we agree that we have a smaller fun fair?
Which side of left I'm talking about? Sorry, yeah, which side of, you know what I mean? Which way you're looking?
From the road or from the back?
If
No,
you-
I think, go on,
If you
Alan.
still the overflow car park with the road on the right.
Yeah,
to the left.
okay, we are.
Yeah.
Ah, right, yeah.
So it's past them, wooden.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah.
Things,
Is everybody all right with that? And then obviously if there's a charge, then what
Usual charge, yeah.
is it, the normal charge? Yeah,
I don't think it's more. It's not 800.
it's normally 800. It's a smaller event. So if you say it, because it is it a week, Alan?
Just under, I think that's 6 days.
So if we say £600, are we all agreed on that?
Madam Chair, can members clarify whether to allow food and drink stalls or not?
I think they always do have one, but they have the candy floss and things like that. I do think that I would accept that if everybody else does, as long as it is just you know, drinks, candy floss. And I think they just do a burger, don't they, and hot dog on one stall, but just that one. Are we all in favour with that?
Yeah.
Item 10, concert, to consider request to hold a small ABBA themed concert at the Lakeside Cafe Bar in Hemsworth Water Park. Alan?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. If this is a request to have another theme concert in the park in a few weeks' time, as per my report to members, I would recommend declining it at the moment. The request mentions having 300 people in the patio area and having an extra stage, so I'm not sure from a health safety point of view there'll be room for it. Also, that number of people, it would, because of the licensing conditions, we need at least 6 SIA registered officers to comply with the conditions stipulated by the police. If members do want to do this, I recommend that we do it later on next year instead, so we've got more time to plan for it, Madam Chair. But as I understand it, the proposed date is in about 4 weeks' time, so it's just really practically can't be done. Nice idea, but not right now.
So you're recommending them to come back? Right.
If the council wants to do it per se, I'd recommend doing it next year. Or if it's up to you, if it's an outright decline, but at about 4 weeks' time, it's too short notice to arrange. Well, to arrange to make it safe.
So what do councillors think?
Goes to propose, as Alan just said, that to ask them to come back to us later on in the year. Maybe winter time, and then we can discuss it for next spring.
Good idea, but it, like you say, once.
So are we all in favour then just to decline at the minute and then
Yeah.
if they come back later on, we,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say.
I'll second that.
well, I think we're all in favour with that. Item 11, Remembrance Sunday, Kingsley and Fitzwilliam to consider the arrangements of Remembrance Sunday in Kingsley and Fitzwilliam.
Remembering us.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just to confirm, the arrangements for Hemsworth are all now sorted out. The British Legion of Poppy Peel and Hemsworth have been in touch. That was agreed at a previous meeting. This is now the council decides if he wants to help out or do anything for the Kingsley Fitzwilliam parade. I assume we've got pretty much a blank canvas, but it's open to members, Madam Chair.
So what do members think?
Obviously, we should have one.
Oh, yeah, we've definitely got to have one. It were a terrible, that last year one.
I don't disagree, Eric. So can we leave it to Alan then to get in touch with some marching band?
Yeah, I can let him know to get in
See if
touch
we can
with.
get
They can't do
somebody-
it this year.
Can't they do it
somebody
this
on
year? After making a mess of it last year. It's a shame that they were so upset that the band that wanted to come, and they thought it were all cancelled. It were on Facebook that it had been cancelled and it hadn't.
Organised.
And
There weren't anything organised.
yes, there was.
Right, all right, we're not going to argue about it.
No,
We're not going to argue about it.
Can you just ensure that this year it is actually on your website, because last year it wasn't. And I rang up to find out what the arrangements were for Hemsworth regarding whether you were able to get through town, etc. And I was told by a member of staff that it was nothing to do with the council and that I had to contact British Legion. It then actually appeared on your website, that I think it was on the Saturday. So can you make sure that it's advertised wider or with a little bit more notice? Because nobody knew whether they were going to be, whether you were going to be able to get into town or not. So can it be actually advertised a little bit better?
Did we have it? I mean, I'm not saying.
If I can just clarify, first of all, Madam Chair, with the Kingsley, do members want pretty much the same as we've got Great Hemsworth, which is a marching band with a parade, traffic management and some refreshments somewhere. Obviously, it used to be Legion, did it? But I have to get that.
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, and just strictly speaking, it isn't actually a council event, it is actually a Legion event. So regarding the Kinsey one as well, I will contact the contacts there because
Yeah.
officially, like the Hemsworth one, it's a Poppy Wheel or Legion event supported by the council. It's a small but important difference. And I'll need to do the same as the courtesy to Legion and Kinsley as well.
Yeah, nevertheless, can we still have it up? Can we still have it on website? Alan?
That's what, Chair, that's what we need this time, because before, the Emsworth one was well advertised. Fitzwilliam and Kinsley, it had said that it had been cancelled, and it hadn't actually been cancelled. But the band, the band that usually comes, the pipe band, they were all ready for coming until they saw it on website that it had been cancelled. So they were really upset that thinking if we'd cancelled it, and not let them know personally. I didn't know anything about it because I went out ready for the parade.
Well, I certainly didn't know anything about it.
No.
I think it had, like you say, it's not a council event.
No, but it was the council that had put it up on website that it was cancelled. Yeah, they did.
Well, anyway, we're moving forward now. This year will be different. And
I
we're all
hope
the
so.
same as. So we're all in favour of that then. Yeah, so Alan, I'll leave it to you to.
We'll get it
to
sorted,
refine
Alan.
that.
We'll get it sorted, yeah.
So item 12, hanging baskets, memorial plaques, to consider allowing the sponsorship of hanging baskets for memorial plaques. Alan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. In fairness, it's Councillor Hurd's proposal, but I've checked with First Impressions, a firm that do the hanging baskets, and it can be done. Just need to do stress test on each individual column, so it can be done. It's up to the council whether you want to do it or not.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't got no problems with that.
Yes, it's quite popular in other places, and I've had a few people asking
Why
if
haven't
we can do it.
Yeah,
Can't see a problem. Are we all in favour?
yeah, definitely, yeah.
Item 13, football pitch provision, further to minute number 41, 2022-23, the working group to report accordingly. So we've got someone from working group here, haven't we? So
Madam Chair, I'll just report the findings from the working group, and then the working group members, if they want to put their own recommendations, obviously that's up to them, Madam Chair. The working group met with representatives from 3 local football teams or groups, Hemsworth Town, Hemsworth West End Terriers and the Hemsworth Dragons Rugby League Club. Hemsworth Town confirmed that provided they can stay at Highfield Road, or what will probably be the new Highfield Road, then that plus what they've got at Sandygate is sufficient provision for their teams. West End Terriers, with their use of Central Road and Sandygate, again, that's sufficient for their current needs. They may wish to expand in the future, but that's for another day, Madam Chair. The only issue was Hemsworth Dragons, and they're okay for this season, but they will likely struggle for next year, Madam Chair.
So we'll just wait for next year for Dragons then. Yeah, just anybody working group want to mention anything before we go to next agenda, next item?
I think this is one like with the Hemsworth Dragons. I think it is one for have to lean on Wakefield while it's taken out, because if there's no space, we can't make a rugby pitch. But I do believe that they have approached Wakefield as well.
And Wakefield can't accommodate them either.
I don't know, just wait.
Oh, so you've asked the question. Yeah, all right then, so we'll leave that in abeyance then. Item 14, grant funding from Wakefield Council to consider suggestions in respect of the grant funding available from Wakefield Council.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As mentioned earlier, I'm in the process of getting some quotes for play equipment, accessible play equipment at Play World. And when those quotes come in, I will send them to the officer at Wakefield and the 3 ward councillors, Jones, Mummersley, Kitchen, are all aware of that. It's up to the council. Well, first of all, I'm assuming the council are okay with me doing that. And secondly, are there any other suggestions that could feed back to Wakefield for this ground funding?
Can I propose that when we put that proposal in, I'm assuming they'll want it in priority order, can we make sure the play equipment's at the top, please? Anyone want to second that?
I'll second it.
Could we put in some ground funding, buy a piece of land, build a bit of football, come rugby field, chair, ground funding. Because we're desperate, chair.
Yeah. But
Good
but
idea.
But where is it gonna go? I'm all for that, but where's it
Especially
gonna go?
something like when we had that meeting, like we first were talking about it. But if we do it, chair, our Wakefield going to take it for building later on.
Yeah.
Oh, grass is disappearing, chair,
Yeah, we'll have to try quick.
it's shameful.
Yeah, it is.
Peter?
Is this grant what they're wanting suggestions for? Is it for the lake and Bath? And,
It can be,
Yeah, this is what.
well,
this is
please
what-
book the Bath and Lake down.
Yeah. Agree with that.
I think there's 5 main things here. There's the lake that's been on the agenda since 2019. It was Pete's idea. There's play world and we need equipment for, like been suggested earlier. Footpath round the lake. There's work to be done at Sandygate to bring that facility up to standard. And there's work to be done at Cemetery Road. We've got 3 football fields at Cemetery Road and one set of changing rooms. And we've got 3 or 4 girls teams play there regularly and a ladies team. So we could do with, some money if possible, funding for an extension to changing rooms and disabled toilets up there. We've extended that car park, which is take lots of pressure off the cemetery. We don't get as many complaints now. And while we're on that subject, I think it was early 2020, when that car park were extended and dug out, and road planers were put in, the road planers that were over went to all intents and purposes to Sandygate to extend that because of parking up road. And that's when it was done. But suggestions regarding this parking were brought up 2019, December, I think, early 2020.
I can feel it going.
So are we all happy with that? Is there anything else that needs to go on this that you want putting on? I think Eric's mentioned the piece of land, I think, you've mentioned it, Eric, if you want me to put it on
Yeah,
this.
chair, because there's girls teams and you must accommodate girls teams and that's it. It's got to be done, chair. We're losing field. Why?
Yeah, it's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like your
Yeah.
man lost his
Yeah.
head. It's shameful. Can we look over there?
Yes.
What about buying that land at Back Springbound Rise and putting a football field on there? That'd be okay. A rugby field.
Good idea.
Be all right.
Right.
Yeah. We need to put everything down while we're here, then you only get one shot at it.
Green belt. It's green belt anyway. Yeah.
So we're gonna move
Get
on
it
to
done quick.
item 15, vehicle lease renewal, grounds maintenance to confirm the recommendations of the finance committee regarding the vehicle lease renewal for the grounds maintenance team.
It's just to reaffirm that, Madam Chair, the full trip of the grounds maintenance team.
Item 16, plant machinery, to consider offers received from prospective buyers for the council's plant machinery.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, so in total have been 4 offers now received for the 3 items of plant. The figures have been circulated to members, but for the public's knowledge, I can confirm that the highest offer for each item for the excavator is 17,500, for the dumper is 2,500, and for the trailer is £6,000. The council has already agreed in principle to sell them, It's up to the council now, if you want to sell them at that price.
So we left it another month to get some more offers in. Where did you advertise it, Alan? On the website?
Yeah, I contacted the firms as well.
Yeah, and contacted firms. So it's up to councillors now to say, to sell and to take the highest offer on each item.
Madam Chair, just stress for completeness, the council isn't obliged to take the highest offer, but why wouldn't you, so just to clarify that issue though.
What was that actually?
Is that the dumper that you were using at Water Park to move sand about?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Worth more than £2,000, Jesus. I'll buy it and sell it on.
2.5.
Oh, worth more than £2,000 that.
2,500.
2.5, still worth more than that.
Yeah.
You're just losing a fortune here,
Just
aren't
just a
they?
minute.
So what we're doing here with this, are we letting them go, what?
Well, that's what the proposal, yes.
Yeah, but it's losing a lot
So-
of money, isn't it?
The original purchase price of 43, I stopped with 24,200.
That's if we sell it. That's an ultimate decision.
Yeah. That's
So
what-
are we doing it today to get
Yes.
shut
I
on?
think that's- yeah.
Thank you.
I think the proposal's got to be, we can all agree or disagree, sorry. I think the proposal, we can all disagree and agree, it's not enough for losing too much, I totally understand that, but I think we need to go with losing more sat there as it is. So I think I would propose we sell it to the highest bidder for each individual item, is that right?
I'll second that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes, cost.
Yeah, sure.
Cost.
We knew they wasted money buying them at that price anyway, didn't they?
Yeah, where we
Right,
are.
are we all in favour? We're not.
What was that, love?
Yeah, where we are, aren't we?
Right,
So
you
I
you
propose it.
proposed,
Yeah,
well, I seconded it, but have we got another seconder? Yeah, are we all in favour to take the highest bid on the individual plant machinery? Yeah,
Yeah.
all in favour?
Yeah. have the right person there talking to them though. He'll get the highest bid. He won't give in.
Everybody agrees.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody against?
No.
Can I just mention something on that? We've had this machinery just over 2 years. And it would have cost in regions of £1,000 a week to hire a machine like that Caterpillar that we've got. It's done over 60 weeks of work as that Caterpillar. So for what it cost 20,000, it's been a bargain. And it's returning at 17,500.
We never had one.
Right,
Yeah, we've just been talking about there's some work to be done at Sandy Hedge, yeah.
yeah.
So as business plan is, sell us plant machinery and then spend us capital on hiring machinery. I'm glad they're not in charge of my funds, Chair,
Yeah.
that's all I can say.
I know you mentioned it last time, but the vote was to sell it, Eric.
I'm glad they're not looking after my
No,
bank
no.
accounts.
Yeah, I'm glad they're not looking after mine either.
Right, Sean, yeah,
That's good business, Chair.
yeah. I know, Eric, that's what the decision is, so.
They were making a good decision and then it's fallen through then.
I've abstained from that. And Eric has.
I voted against it.
Right, we're gonna move on to item 17, council's conduct, to consider council's conduct to take appropriate action where applicable. So, yeah, I put this on the agenda. You know, really just to adhere to this, for councillors, to adhere to the standing orders. And I think you've all got to agree that this council won't tolerate abuse to staff and swearing. We've got to stop doing that. They work really hard down at the cafe bar and the grounds maintenance and the office staff. And I don't think they should get any abuse from councillors. Also, I don't think it's appropriate for councillors to,
Sorry, Chair, have you struggled?
about,
I thought
from,
you said from councillors.
yeah, I did.
Well, if a councillor swears at an employee, what's kicking off? Simple. End
Agreed,
of.
but this is what I'm saying.
We don't know what's happened, we don't know what you're on about.
Sorry, Chair, I thought I'd be saying.
No,
No.
no.
Oh, is it?
I'm just highlighting some things, I'm just highlighting
And
some
as a
things.
councillor sworn at an employee, if he has, whoever it is,
I'm not,
what's kicking off?
I'm not gonna discuss that tonight,
But there has been.
I'm just put it on the agenda,
I've
so
no
that,
idea.
I think we all need to know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
yeah, well,
Because it's public hearing that councils are
Yeah,
swearing at
because this is,
employees.
no,
That's wrong.
it's not good advice.
Last one at my boss, I'll be sacked.
Yeah, can you let one person speak, because they're chipping in here, I can't hear what's going on.
I just
One
wanted to know if it is a
person,
councillor that's done it.
like I've just mentioned, it involves staff, I'm not gonna, obviously it'll be done internally.
No,
I'm unsure if this is allowable, but so could we bring this item to exposure today? I don't know if that's allowed or not.
Yeah, you can.
I don't know.
yeah,
definitely want to know what's happening, don't we?
yeah, that's what we'll do then, if all councillors agree, we'll take it to exclusion press and public. So yeah, are we all in favour of that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Somebody wants to ask a question.
yes,
I just want to bring up about Eddie security on board. She's ruled this good.
excuse me, I'm not gonna talk about council staff, I've just, that's why I put it to
Well,
exclusion
I'm
press
going
and
to deal
public.
with them.
Well, you
Just carry on doing what you're still
Anne,
doing.
will you please stop interrupting?
You know, I went at the Larch Park 3 weeks ago
I'm
with my dog and she whistled across the lake. Effing it, saying, get that dog off that lake. She's got a right mouth.
no,
She's
we're not gonna discuss that. So we're gonna move, sorry, I'm sorry, we're gonna move on.
She's got the job, she'll throw in his amenity, that's why we're
She
discussing.
treats them staff.
Yeah, that's it.
disgusting.
You're right.
For the first event.
It needs bringing up.
Yeah, she needs to speak to Alan, it's not the time,
She whistled me like a
about
dog.
staff.
In fact, I don't know what to do. She said two lads around to me, they thought they were happier on one of these tractor things.
Are you pointing at me?
I thought it was you whistling at me, because they tell me it was Gaffer that had sent them round to have a word with me. I said, "Don't
Listen, I'm not listening to that because,
well, you ain't, will you?
no, I won't, because you're saying things that's not true.
Yeah, they are.
I am not, let me rephrase that, I am not the
I think you need to
gaffer.
make an apology.
I am not the gaffer, I am not the gaffer like you've just referred to, and that's what I'm talking
Don't you
about.
say things like that
Yeah.
to me.
Well, don't say
Show
that
respect.
I sent somebody down and that I'm the gaffer, and I do show respect where
That's
respect
what I
is
said.
due.
The two lads.
She
You
didn't
said
say
that.
that.
Just
She
a
didn't say
minute.
it.
No, just a
She
minute.
didn't
Just a
say
minute.
it.
I know what she said.
I know what she said, and she didn't say that.
Right,
She
she
didn't
said,
say that.
I said, who are you referring
She said
to?
she thought
You
you
said
were you
two-
at first.
No,
She said
I
she
said I
thought
thought
it was
it
you at
was
first.
Right, we're gonna move on.
Listen, no, listen to
You
her.
have to, anything to do with the staff,
No,
You
just
need to
listen
speak
to
to
her and then
her.
you'll clear
And
your
that's-
name. Listen
that's
to her.
policies and procedures, and that's what we all have to do.
Just listen to her for
Apologies.
for 1 minute.
That's the council.
No, we're moving on.
No.
We're moving on
There's
to
a
item 19.
There's a procedure to follow, if you've got a complaint.
That's
You're
what I'm
not
just
chair,
trying to
she's
say.
chair.
Again.
She's
Uh,
chairing it, and she's just, if
Follow that
you,
procedure, we've got a meeting, an electronic. meeting
Right,
about
we're
you,
moving
you
on
need
to
volunteer
item
in.
19, subject
That's it,
access
yeah.
requests. 18, freedom of information request, the town clerk to report an anonymised freedom of information request received and to authorise the respective responses accordingly.
Just one moment, Chair, regarding some invoices.
Yeah, item 19, subject access request, the town clerk to report an anonymised subject access request and to authorise the response accordingly. Yeah,
Just to approve it, Madam Chair.
yeah, we have to prove it anyway, yeah. Item 20, Lakeside Cafe Bar fridges and freezers, to consider new fridges and freezers for the new fridge and freezer for the cafe bar. We've absolutely.
Have you got any quotes in?
We've had,
Have you got any quotes in?
yeah, just a minute, I'm just saying, we've had that many breakdowns, it's costing us money now in stock. And every time the freezer goes down and it's full because we're busy, then all the stock goes down with it, we've got to do something. Donna, what did you say?
2 questions, can I ask how long that's been going on for?
Yeah, it's been going on for a while.
Can I ask what it's only just been brought to the,
It hadn't done, it's been brought before, but
It's 15 years
nobody
old,
wanted
but
to pay it. Nobody wanted to spend any more money, but this is about, as much as I argued about it, it still got declined, and that's why we're where we are.
I mean, my concern is we had a report from the general manager last week with a load of repairs that needed. We've got the fridge freezer, we're talking about, if we do get this 300 grand from Wakefield, we're talking about going around late. We've put off the lift, I've been asking for a business plan for that for months, we've put it off and it's all fallen into this financial year. And I just find that very strange that we've got so much going into one financial year when we're gonna end up, and I sit here as finance chair, we're gonna end up at the end of the year, I can guarantee it'll be saying, well, last year, the council had X amount of reserves, this year we've got less.
Well,
And it's.
as far as-
You're right,
As
yeah.
far as I'm concerned, I put these things on the agenda and they just kept getting declined and deferred and everything.
Well, as I would do, I manage budgets at work, I'm calling out that concerns me that we've pushed it all into the next financial year.
This is
When-
where we
when-
need to, we
when
need
the
to be
new-
spending the, we
When
we have
Labour's
some
took over
money
the
actually
finances, so that they
from,
could look at.
from.
Yeah,
the-
that's it, isn't it?
Just a minute, we had some money, I think it was 180,000. I think we have 182,000 we got from the sale of the sports complex. And I think some of that should be used, I
I
really
think it's
do, that's
burning a
what
hole
it's
in the
for,
pockets.
that's what it's for.
I'm not disagreeing, I'm just saying there's a hell of a lot of money all of a sudden coming out of the woodwork that we need to painting, we need floors, we need all this stuff for that cafe that had.
But I don't understand that.
You spent a fortune on it and now it's all coming out this financial year, it's just my point.
2 years ago, you spent 64,000 on the
Just a
park, now
minute.
you're telling us it all needs to be doing
Just a
again.
minute, just a minute, we've got, Graham.
Does that need to come back to council?
No, because
Not easy.
because we've got, it were agreed that over a certain amount has to be go out to consultation.
Yeah.
And how much is the,
Just a minute,
Talking about fridge freeze.
walking, the big
Big
catering ones,
walking fridge freeze, yeah, sorry. I didn't-
we need it, I think we ought to make a decision today and.
Still be leaving the door up when the walked in.
Say-
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the security should be.
We all sat and did budget in February and April, Donna, or what of us, and we brought all these things together. We knew what we'd got in reserves. And Alan put the budget forward to everybody. And these extra items then, we kept deferring.
It was.
So that's all we're discussing.
This February, we sat down and we all did a budget.
Now,
Were I on holiday?
we did the budgets and these things were mentioned then and we deferred them.
Why did they do the
And then
budget?
obviously,
can you just,
Our-
can
Our
you just
budget
be
for this
quiet?
year, what used up and what Alan said to us were, at the meeting when we gave the staff the increased pay rise, which cost 40,000. He said, we'd have to tighten his belts now because of what we've done and anything else will have to come from reserves or, obviously, as this 300,000 dollars from Wakefield.
We have got.
Yeah, it's all about what. I do know a little bit about like annual planning process and stuff like that. Can I ask why, as key stakeholders sat around this table, none of us were involved?
Again.
No idea about it.
This is what I'm gonna ask.
Everybody were involved.
No, we
No,
won't.
we weren't. No, we
You've
weren't.
just told us that you did the
Alan,
budget.
can we?
Everybody
Alan,
so
No.
you know what,
everybody
you know,
was sat
Alan,
there
so-
when budgets were
Jim,
done.
Jim, just a
No,
minute.
hang
Alan.
on. You wasted that much money on venue boys and everything and all this.
No, just a minute.
The budget was drafted, it was circulated to members, Madam Chair. and it wasn't proven.
Thank you.
There wasn't a budget for his fridges and freezers,
Thank
as
you.
I said, that from the, because of the pay increases, that it would have to partake to come out of reserves. I'm in the process of getting quotes for these water freezers. We did get one about 2 years ago, and from memory, that was about £17,000. So I suspect that's going to be north of £20,000 now with all the costs of the inflation. So I'm in the process of getting quotes. It did come to council or committee about a year, 18 months ago, and it got deferred then. The reason to come back to committee, what council, a few mentioned it, Madam Chair, and also because we do have to call the engineer out quite a bit to fix it. It's used to, but like anything, over time it deteriorates. Instead of being called out twice a year, it's now twice a month sort of thing. It's that kind of thing. So I'm in the process of getting quotes, Madam Chair.
I mean, the repair costs, I think between 300 to 600, but like I just said, it's not the repair costs, it's the stock that's being lost. That's costing money as well.
I want to be clear about a few things. So first of all, I'm not saying we shouldn't have this fridge freezer. That's not what I said, right? What I said was, there's all these things being added on. And Councillor Kinnish said, we sat down and we agreed the budget. None of those things were in that budget. When I looked down that list, there was nothing about any of those things. That's my point. So I want to be really clear that you turned around what I've said, because this is recorded and people have seen it, and you're making it look stupid.
Yeah.
Chair, can I respond to that, Chair? Respond to
Just a
that.
minute,
Just
I
a
have
minute. I'll just, what Donna, would you like Jim Kenyon to respond to your?
There's no point, because they'll say something.
No,
completely
I don't think
different
that's
to what
unfair.
they
He
said.
wants to respond.
He
Yeah,
never does.
respond then.
Well, let him
We dis-
respond and then I'll come to
Let,
you.
let them talk,
We
choice,
discussed-
Jane.
Gene, I've got-
Yeah, I'm coming to you next, Ben.
We discussed this in January, March and April about this fridge freezer. It's about 15 or 20 year old, this fridge freezer. It's been breaking down all the time. But on this year's budget, we didn't have, by the time we'd worked everything out, we didn't have the funds available to get it done then, exactly same as lived. So what we said is, it would have to come out of reserves when we get round to doing it. That's what we said.
Yeah.
Right, Peter.
Do you know how much this is gonna cost this freezer thing?
Alan's just said he's in the process of getting some quotes, but
Right.
he did give an idea, and it could be more now, to the quotes that we got before.
Can we please have a vote on it?
I
Get it
agree,
done.
I agree with that. We need to vote tonight
I'm not saying don't go feel like
to
the
get, we need to vote tonight to get. It doesn't tell when councillors are laughing at him, it's just pathetic.
I'm not laughing at him.
Yeah, you are laughing at him. Every comment he makes, there's a laugh.
I'm sorry, I do apologise. I did not laugh at you.
So, Jane, so. Alan, can we do this tonight? Because considering it is an emergency, and we did say that emergencies, we can make a decision. Peter's just said, you know, let's get this sorted and vote tonight, and then we can wait for the quotes and then it come back and move forward.
Councillor Middleton's had his hand for 45 years.
I'm coming back, excuse me, I'm running
He never
council.
puts it on.
Can I just ask Alan some clarification? So you've just said in your conversation there that we deferred this because of the pay rises. The pay rises well after February.
Yeah, it will.
So the pay rises was nothing to do with
You
these.
know about it.
Pay
I
rise.
didn't know about pay rises.
Wait a minute, be quiet a minute.
It didn't, that's not what Alan said. Alan said we didn't get the fridge because of the pay rises.
Yeah, you're quite right, no mistake. It was just that, I did say back in budgeting time though, that this wouldn't be.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, apologies, you're quite right.
Right, so obviously, councillor Ardake has proposed that we agree to purchase, wait for the quotes to come in and then make a decision on, we'll have to put it out. Do you want to? No, not put it out to tender, but we can get 3 quotes, Alan.
I get quotes and provided it's below £25,000. Yeah, 25,000 both, that's about 10.
You are.
Right, yeah, so are we all in favour?
Yeah.
Where they're going, that's what's gonna happen. That's where they're going.
Item 21,
Oh.
exclusion of present public. Members of the public and the person to be excluded from the consideration of business a confidential nature as per the Public Bodies Admissions Meetings Act 1960. Mr Barlow, you can stay for the.
I want to say that Mr Barlow's got to
He
stay.
hasn't got to stay.
He has.
He has not. I'm asking him to stay. He hasn't got to stay at all.